Well, I haven't done a CFA update video in a while, and it is today, March 27th, 2025. I know the big risk event next week, April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs, day of liberation being announced by the US. But that's not the biggest event of next week. April 3rd is the biggest day next week, along with initial claims early in the morning out of the US. We're going to get level 1 results from the February 2025 exam. Typical pass rates, 40 to 45% for level 1. If we take the last, let's say, 10 years and you look at the average, it lands in around 40 to 45%. It's peaked above there a few times and peaked below there a few times, but that is typically the range. And the average exam pool, if we take the last few years in which there have been multiple exam sittings for level 1, the average exam pool for May is around 35 to 40,000. I expect it will fall within that range again this year. So if we have the typical ranges, 40 to 45% with 35 to 40,000 candidates sitting, next Thursday morning, some 15 to 18,000 participants around the world will get the good news that they have passed level 1, and many of them will go on to think about when they're going to sit for level 2. Quite a few will register for the next open window that they can. Some will delay it for a while, thinking, well, I wanted to get level 1 out of the way. I did that. Let's get out in the real world. Let's get a job and let my employer pay for the rest. And then some will simply just exit after passing level 1. Many people who start things like to finish things, get level 1 out of the way. I've started, but halfway through, they realize that, nah, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, and that's fine. At least you've done it. At least you can say, I tried it. I don't think it's for me. Good enough. On the other hand, 20 to 22,000 candidates from around the world will get that other email saying they did not pass. Many of them will expect it. Many of them who sat probably recognized that they weren't really prepared, but they were going to go in anyways. Some others probably, as they approached the exam, recognized they weren't ready, had deferred to another exam. We'll talk about the deferrals in a minute. Of the ones that did not pass, the decision is retake or exit. Some people will simply exit, along with the ones over here, recognizing that it's not for me. I prepared for it. The exam was there. I wrote the exam. I didn't make it. That's not for me. I'm done. Even if I passed, I probably wouldn't continue on. That's fine. If you're exiting just because you did not pass, I would say, is that all it takes to keep you down, is to knock you down once? Come on. If this is the only reason why, take a few days and reflect on that decision. But if you've just come to the decision that it's not for you, then at least you're making an informed decision. And then we have those who are going to retake. I think the important thing we need to do is determine what went wrong. And usually it breaks down into one of three big categories. The biggest one is I ran out of time. I underestimated the size of level 1, or I started too late. I was overconfident. I have an undergrad in finance, or I'm a third-year finance a university student. I know this stuff. I can start 2 months before the exam. And as they were going through it, realizing that, whoa, this is a big thing. Level 1, the content within it is equivalent to about a semester, an undergraduate semester. If you have 5 classes, it's equivalent to about an undergraduate semester. And at the end of the semester, you cram for exams, and the exams are only on a portion of the overall semester, but you're still putting in how many hours on each one. And over the course of the semester, how many hours did you put into your course? That's really what this requires. I don't think that 2 months is the appropriate amount of time. But that is usually the biggest reason why. It's not ability. You were more than likely a university student or a university graduate when you sat to wrote this. You got accepted at a higher education institution, so it's not your ability. The biggest reason is time. So you know that. So whatever exam window you're going to sit for, give yourself enough time and use that time. It's easy to fall into the trap of the illusion of time. That's when these people had deferred. Some of the people who would have written here had deferred. They recognized that they had run out of time. They deferred, and they think, well, it's all the way over here. I now have time. And they don't put in the proper time in the beginning, and they end up in the same situation they were in before. The exam is 3 weeks away, and I'm out of time, and I'm not going to make it. If you are buying yourself some time, if you are looking at the August or the November window, I would strongly suggest the November window. Even though you can write the August window, I would suggest the November window, because you have one huge big distraction for the August window, and that's called summer, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. It's called summer, and you're going to want to do all the fun things that summer has. And if the exam is in August, you're giving up the first part of August. You're basically giving up. Are you prepared for that? I would look at November, and then I would have a schedule in place that uses the time that you have. So you don't look at the calendar and say, oh, it's so far away, I got lots of time. August or November uses the same curriculum, the same content as you did for February. Whether you sit February, May, August, or November, it is the same content. If you go all the way to February of 2026, now you're talking about maybe potentially some changes to level 1. Maybe some of the readings are obsolete and there are new readings in there. You don't want to do that. If you did not pass, you want to get it out of the way this year, and you only want to write it one more time. So give yourself the proper amount of time and use that time. Because with 2 weeks left to the exam, you cannot buy yourself more time. All you can do is defer, kick the can down the road. But now you can buy yourself all the time you need. That's the biggest reason. The second reason is I didn't understand some things. I'm not very strong with fixed income or with derivatives or with quant, so those things really bother me. I didn't understand the whole economics section. If you have no accounting background, FSA can be confusing. Financial statement analysis, US GAAP versus IFRS, the rules just seem to keep on coming. Every page you turn, if this, if that, if this, if that. It can become overwhelming, and then you rely on the lowest level of learning, which is, look, I don't understand it, I'm just going to memorize it. Level 1 is a lot of know what. So you probably can memorize your way through a lot of level 1. But when you get to level 2 without that understanding, level 2 is a know-how, because it's a valuation level. It's not going to rely on a lot of memorization. You're not going to get a lot of questions where it just requires you to remember something, going, oh, I know, this is the answer, I remember this. It's going to be more applied, and understanding is sort of just a given at level 2. So it's the wrong strategy at level 1 to try to memorize your way through, because you will be stopped at level 2. And that feeling you have today because you passed and moved on will be a DNP at level 2. And it'll be harder at level 2 because you will have used the wrong strategy to learn at level 2. So I have Bloom's taxonomy down here just to give you an idea of where you have to reach to. For level 1, the lower level, there is some questions you'll get that really will rely on your ability to remember something. There are questions that your recall will help you with, but the focus really is on understanding and application, with a little bit of analyzing, not much, but a little bit in there, but heavy on application and understanding. When you move to level 2, moves up to more of analyzing a situation and applying concepts. So I may give you at level 2 an example of a company and give you some characteristics of that company, and you need to select evaluation methods. You first have to analyze the characteristics of the company and decide, well, based on this, How would I value it? And you use a particular valuation technique, and then you apply that valuation technique to value it. Level 3, even higher, evaluation and analysis. You have to move up. You may be able to memorize your way through a lot of level 1, but you're not going to memorize your way through level 2 or level 3, because you're going to get no questions that rely on recall, especially level 3. There is no question at level 3 that relies you to simply regurgitate something out of memory. Everything is applied. At a minimum, everything is applied. Lots of analysis, lots of evaluation, and even some create, which is the highest form of learning, is to be able to take this bit of information and this bit of information and say, without you telling me, I can create C out of those two little bits of information. So if you failed to elevate your level of learning to application understanding at level 1 and you did not pass, it's probably because you felt that this was, hey, you know what, my undergrad, I memorized my way through some courses, I can do this as well. Not so much. So you really have to seek a deeper understanding of everything. For those that pursue it self-study, that can be challenging, because when you get to something that you don't understand on the page, who do you turn to? You can turn to AI, ChatGPT, and ask a question, but what if you don't even know what the question is to ask because you don't understand what you're looking at? So let's, on the next screen, we'll look at some things that you can use to help you with understanding. Just in between screen 1 and screen 2, let me do a shameless plug for our own study packages. This is Meldrum CFA. Self-study plus applied. Applied level is right at the very bottom. This is something that I still produce. I'll explain the applied level for you soon. We have instructor-led online interactive live classes, 30 hours of live classes. They're also recorded. I'll show you a schedule soon. 6 mentor hours as well. Let's see if we can hover over that. Our CFA charter holder mentors who used MM while studying provide one-on-one sessions in their area of expertise to assist candidates. So we do have charter holders who work in fixed income, who are analysts, who do have accounting backgrounds, and they do tutoring in those particular fields that they're experts in. You get 6 hours of that. So not only do you get 30 hours of live sessions, you get 6 mentor hours as well. And this one over here is the instructor-led. It's the same one here, but you get the applied level as well. So if we just click on the next tab here, I'll show you the schedule. This was level 1. They're getting ready for the May 2025 session. So you can see the topics that are covered, and you can view the recording after. So if you miss a session, the recording is right there. And we can see they're almost done except for a few sessions coming up. And then level 2. Here's the August schedule for level 2. So that is just under live sessions. If you click on live sessions, you'll find instructor-led sessions. We also have office hours leading into an exam. Office hours are different than the live sessions. Live sessions have a schedule. There's something that the instructor is trying to get through. There's a presentation. There's some learning material. Office hours are more open. You show up at these and you ask open-ended questions. So we see level 1 for the May 2025 exam, starting April 1st, leading into the exam for the month before the exam. These are open sessions, quantitative methods and derivatives. You show up and you just ask all the questions that you have. So you can see a whole bunch of office hour sessions are scheduled there. Same with level 2, starting April 8th. They're all leading into the exam. These are more open-ended sessions. So the instructor-led sessions, the tutoring hours that go with it, the 6 mentor hours, the office hours, that should really help get you to the level of understanding. Because if you have any questions at all, you have 6 hours of one-on-one. You got 30 hours of direct live instruction with an instructor on the other side where you can ask questions back and forth. And you have I think we do like 24 different sessions for office hours leading into the exam. Other things that you can do as well for understanding, perhaps the content just lacks relevance. I know that when I did my undergrad, you come across certain topics where I have no experience in some of this stuff at all, and you read something in the book and it's, well, if you say so, because I don't know how it works in the real world. Some things seemed so abstract it was hard to get your head around, so you just had to say, well, okay, I'm just going to remember it this way, because I don't really understand it, because, well, I've never really done it. So every week on Sundays, I put out a market outlook. And if you have been through level 1, or as you're going through level 1, you will recognize most of what I'm talking about. So it's really a lot of CFA concepts applied to the market. We look at the yield curve, we look at SPY, we look at where beta is, where the multiples are, we look at different economic reports and the impact it has. This is weekly on YouTube on Sunday. And then you get comments under the video, and on Wednesday I post a comment Q&A where I just cycle through all of the comments and I answer them. So half the screen looks like this, where half the screen are the comments, and I got a white page over here, and then I write out my answers over here. This will help you connect the content with the real world. So it will help make it more relevant. And sometimes when you see it in practice, you go, oh, that's what that's for, or that's how that works. Okay, it starts to, the stuff that's on the textbook pages start to make a bit more sense. Beginning in mid-June, however, for the market outlook, I will only be putting a mini version up on YouTube, and I will be canceling the comment section. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't have this anymore. It just means that I'm shifting it somewhere else. The full version of the market outlook will be on Discord, and all the comments will be on Discord. The Q&A video will be on Discord only, and whenever I do live events, I do live market Q&As, that will be on Discord only. As a level 1 subscriber, you can get access to Discord. It is by invitation only. If you are an mm.com subscriber, for level 1 or level 2 or level 3, you can there'll be an invitation on the site soon for you to join our Discord, which is invitation only. You'll be given an A1 role, and if you like I say, are an mm.com subscriber in any of the level 1, level 2 or level 3 programs, you will also have a speaking role, which means you can comment. We will have some people who have an A1 role, but they can only look, they can only view, they can't comment. This will give you the ability to comment, because you're on the path. You're on the path to learning about the market, so you are informed enough to make a comment. So any level 1, level 2, level 3 subscribers on mm.com get that as a benefit, is you will always have access to the market outlook, the full version of the market outlook, because it will shrink on YouTube. Also, what I've noticed on Discord, because a lot of our Discord subscribers or Discord members, it's only for applied level subscribers, and I'll explain the applied level down here. But many of them are CFA Plus. When you take the CFA Plus, you get the CFA program and the applied level at the same time. There's a lot of CFA candidates already in the Discord who are applied level subscribers, and I'm already seeing comments about organizing study groups. So we gave them a channel to do that, to specifically do that and share study tips, and it is filling out quite nicely. So that is available to you as well, that sense of community, because a big problem with the CFA program, and I'll touch upon it down here, is it is self-study. So you have a feeling sometimes of being isolated, of being all alone, of no one to turn to. If you could just ask somebody a question, it would save you half an hour of searching online going, I don't get this, and that feeling of frustration that you get. And here it allows you to find and organize some study groups. For the applied level, you would get full access to Discord. Again, you get that feeling of community. So you just simply select the CFA Level 1 Plus or the CFA Level 2 Plus. For both of these, the applied level is split into two: applied analysis and applied asset management, because that's really the focus of the CFA program. Either you're analyzing a security or you're managing a portfolio of securities. So the applied level is broken down like that. The applied level is really exactly what it says. It's the concepts of the CFA program applied to the real world. There is a PDF. If you look at the pricing structure for the applied level, you'll notice a link to a PDF. Click on that and it will give you a lot of detail of what the applied level involves. If you add CFA Level 1 Plus or Level 2 Plus, you get a role of A3. A3 has full access to everything we have on Discord. I'll show you one really neat section of Discord here shortly. If you take the applied analysis, you have an A2A role. You get access to everything that falls under applied analysis. And if you have the applied asset management, which usually is just attached to the CFA Level 3 Plus, you have A2B access. If you take CFA Level 1 Plus, you get applied analysis. When you move on to Level 2, if you take the CFA Level 2 Plus, it recognizes that you have applied analysis and it gives you applied asset management. The price of the applied level, each of applied analysis and applied asset management, is $425 each. If you are in the CFA community at all, a Level 1, a Level 2, or Level 3 candidate, or a charter holder, regardless of where you are, you will get $100 off. And if you are an mm.com subscriber, a Level 1, Level 2, or Level 3 candidate, and taking your package from us, you get another $50 off. So it's really only $275. So when we look at the pricing, if you go back and look at the pricing, self-study was $399. The self-study plus applied, that's the CFA Plus, was $675. It's only $275 more if you get it in the CFA Plus. Instead of the $425 or even the $325, you get it at the $275. So there's lots of ways to find relevance, to attach it to the real world. So as far as developing understanding, when we think about the instructor-led plus applied, 30 hours of interactive live classes, weekly update videos, 6 personal hours of tutoring directed towards you, and the applied level. With that, access to our invite-only Discord channel, where you will meet other people, bump into other people there. Lots. We got 2,300 on our Discord so far. We expect that by the time we're done porting everybody over, we'll be somewhere around 30,000. Also with the largest, I'd say the highest concentration of charter holders of any CFA group or applied level group out there. Well, applied level group. There is no other applied level group, only ours, but CFA, heavily CFA related group. Let's deal with number 3. We got understanding down. We got time down. We understand that. Motivation. Because sometimes, you know that you have to do this. It's 6 o'clock. You think, oh, I got to put in a couple hours tonight, and it's easy to shrug it off, especially when a new episode of Severance is out or a new episode of White Lotus is out. You think, I'll pass on that tonight. How do you stay motivated? When you're motivated, you don't have to do this. You get to do this. You don't dread doing it. You look forward to it. You find the time. You want to do it, and you don't want to be taken away. It's like the gym. When you first start going to the gym, sometimes it's you're not that motivated. Getting to the gym the first time is the hard time. But once you start seeing some gains, you get addicted. For people who go to the gym every day, it's hard not to go. You can't conceive of going. When you don't go, you feel like crap. You want to go. How do you get that with this program? And the big issue here, as I said, is it is self-study. Think about it this way. And let's use the gym analogy, because this is very true. Lots of people buy home equipment, home gym equipment, and they either put it in the garage or they put it in their basement and they think, there it is, I can use it there. And they rarely ever do. They may use it in the beginning, but then it just ends up being a place to pile clothing on. And it's just in the way and it gets shoved off to the side eventually, and you never actually use it, but you still go to the gym. Why is that? Why is it so different that if you set up something at home, it's not the same as going to the gym? And you do, unless you have a particular plan, you will make better progress by going to the gym rather than working out at home. It's because the gym has a sense of community. You go to the gym for more than just the equipment. You go there because of the social aspect of it. And when you're in that social milieu, you push harder. You work harder because eyes are on you. And you also have social comparison. You're seeing what other people are doing and you're saying, I can do that, I can get there. So there's a bit of motivation built in because you're around a bunch of people, some that you are that you've progressed beyond, and others that have progressed beyond you. So they pull you forward, much as you pull those behind you forward. And it's the same when you go to university. You're sitting in a class and you're hearing the other people ask questions or give comments, and it raises the bar for you because you think, well, I'm not going to say something stupid here, right? So you want to make sure that when you contribute, that you're contributing at that level. It makes you want to be better when you see other people around you that are better than you or have progressed beyond you or are stronger, faster, smarter. It makes you want to be better. But CFA is self-study. You're all alone. And that's where it's difficult to, how do I get social comparison in here? How do I benchmark myself against someone? How do I get a sense of community when I'm all alone? The Discord is a big step towards creating that sense of community. When you go to the gym, there's lots of help there in terms of helping you develop a workout program, in looking at other people doing things and watching their technique and how they're doing it. Maybe somebody's doing a certain set that you look at and you think, I've never done that before. What is that targeting? Maybe you try it out yourself. When you're all alone, you don't really know how to set a schedule for yourself. Time management is a big issue. No schedule or structure. The other problem with the self-study method for CFA is there's no deliverables. When you're in university, you have a midterm, you have an assignment, you build your grade into the end of the semester. Sometimes you take a course which is a straight up pass-fail. This is usually at the master's level. Some courses are not structured with deliverables. There's either just a pass-fail in it, but those are rare. This is one big thumbs up, thumbs down course. There are no deliverables. Everything is done on one exam, and it's a straight up pass or fail. That can be tough because how do I know where I am along the way? When you're at the gym, you say, well, last week I benched 160. Now I'm benching 170. Week after I'm at 180. I got 180 up, then 190. You can see the progress week after week. But on this one, even though each week after week you could say, okay, I know this, I know that, you don't have any positive feedback yet because you have no deliverables other than the quizzes and the mock exams. It is the one exam that really matters. Everything all on one exam. So that's sort of the difficulty in getting motivation here, is because you don't have this feedback loop that happens a lot. So let's try two different techniques to build motivation. I find these work quite well. Technique number 2, I use a lot of. Not so much technique number 1, but I used to. I don't really use it anymore because I don't really need it because I do have my motivation already down. It's become a habit for me. Speaking of habits, do you know it takes 99 days to form a habit? It takes 66 days to break a habit. Isn't that incredible? That if you have a bad habit, it would take 66 days to break it. And to form a habit like going to the gym regularly, it takes about 3 months to really ingrain it in you that it is now just part of who you are. So let's try technique number 1. What I want you to do, rather than standing where you are and looking forward and saying level 1, level 2, level 3, graduate, get a job, 3 years working, oh, the road is long. And the road is long, and it's a meandering road, especially if you don't know where you're headed, but you're just moving forward. It's a long, meandering road with a lot of side roads to it. Instead of standing where you are and looking forward, jump ahead 5 years. And I want you to describe where you are in 5 years. Are you an average analyst, making an average salary, living in an average place? Nobody says, oh, in 5 years, I plan to be an average employee in a mid-sized firm in a secondary city, living in an apartment. Nobody says that. I want you to think about what you want to be in 5 years. Everyone is going to say, at least, and please, whatever you do, don't say, I want to make a lot of money. That is not a goal. That is an outcome. That is an outcome of reaching a goal, the goal being to be the best at something or to be great. Maybe not the best, but to be considered great. I want to be considered a great analyst or an up-and-coming analyst. That's the words I want people to use to describe me. That one, they're up-and-coming. Keep your eye on them. That's what I want to be, which means you got to be better than those around you. So when you jump forward 5 years and you describe the world you live in and who you are, not how much money you're making, that is the reward. If you're saying I just want to have a lot of money, well, whoop-de-doo, so does everybody. That's everybody's goal in 5 years. But it doesn't help you get there if that's all you say. I want to be the best. I want to be considered among the greatest. I want to be called the up-and-coming. I want to be on institutional investor list of best ranked analysts. That's what I want. Or I want to be an asset manager. I want to be in charge of some kind of fund, something somewhere, no matter what it is. This is what I want to do. I want to be able to pick winners. I want to be the best at picking winners. And then work backwards from that. Well, what are you going to need to get that done? And as you work backwards from that, you'll realize that as you're going through level 1, that this is the pathway that's going to get you to that point. But only if you do it better than everyone else is doing it. You have to know it better than the person beside you. That becomes motivating because we know now where we're headed and we know what we have to do to get there, as opposed to moving forward without any real destination in mind, just some future self that we think we see. Well, I'll have a job and I'll have the charter by then, and you have some vague idea of what you're going to do, but you've never really described it. You've never really sat down and said, let me write a 1-paragraph statement about who I am in 5 years, because now there's one road that leads there, as opposed to this meandering road that may go this way and that way. Eye on the prize. Right? All the time, eye on the prize. Another 2 hours a night gets me another step closer to that person who I am going to be. The other way to motivate yourself is to break big tasks down into a whole bunch of little tasks. Nothing is more addicting than success. So what we have to do in your daytime is figure out, how do we get a whole bunch of small successes within your day? And I find that this technique works really well. What I want you to do before the hour before you go to sleep, or the half hour, you really shouldn't have any screens in front of you anyways, and you really should be thinking about your day tomorrow, is I want you to make a list of 10 things that really take 3 to 5 minutes to do, administrative things in your life that you have to do, but no one really likes to do it. Whether the dishes have piled up, whether there's laundry that's piled up, you haven't done your bed sheets in a while, whatever the case is, write it down. Write a list of small things you can get done in 3 to 5 minutes. Then I want you to write out 5 things that would take you about 15 minutes to half an hour to get done. 15 minutes is the better number, and it doesn't even have to be that you have to get it done. but that you're going to put 15 minutes in on something. Maybe you look out at your front yard and there's garbage in the hedges, and every time you pull up in your vehicle, you look at it, you go, I'll get to that someday, I'll get to that. Maybe you make maybe on your list you say, clean that out. And you're going to go out there and you're going to give it 15 minutes and do as much as you can. And then you have a couple of things that are big projects that you say, put 2 to 3 hours in on X. Now, that's a big thing to do when you sit down and you say, well, I'm going to put 2 to 3 hours in, because you don't get enough victories with 2 to 3 hours. But as you start doing those things that take 3 to 5 minutes, you check them off. It'll build motivation because you're checking these things off your list. You're going to do a couple of the 15-minute things, and it'll build that motivation, and you're going to want to check more things off your list, and then you're going to get to that. What seemed like, 2 to 3 hours now is something that you've got all these victories behind you. You don't want to lose that momentum. That is how you build momentum into these bigger projects. So that the end, getting it done, is not the goal. The process is the goal. And during those 2 hours, you should have a plan of how do you break that down into a whole bunch of small successes as well. I'm going to go through 3 learning objectives. Well, there you go. You've broken it down into three separate victories. If you can plan your day to give yourself a whole bunch of small victories, that momentum will bring you into the big tasks that you have to do. Combine that with a vision of who you want to be in 5 years. Right? Layer on the market outlook, layer on the applied level, layer on the 30 hours of instructor classes, the 6 hours of mentorship with you. There is no reason why you can't develop into a star level 1 candidate finishing in the top 10%. Everything is there for you. But if you can sort of visualize that, give yourself these days with these victories, see who you are in 5 years, it becomes addicting. Then the problem is, how do we get you away from this stuff? But we'll deal with that one when we get there. Anyways, that's the end of this one. March 27th, 10:48 a.m. In less than 7 days now, 6 days and 22 hours, you will have your level 1 results. If you have passed, welcome to level 2. If you did not pass, I want you to take a couple of days and really think about why it didn't work out for you. And if you're thinking of exiting just because you did not pass, is that all it takes really, is to just knock you down once? Get up, and think about when you're going to reschedule. My strongest recommendation would be November. Even though you have some of level 1 done and you think you can get it done by August, just enjoy your summer. You're young. Don't forget to be young, right? There's no rush on this. It's the same content in November. Aim for November and use the calendar to your advantage. I'll see you next Thursday. Okay, let me just show you some of the parts of Discord that if you are CFA Plus, meaning you have the applied level, you will have access to this. And if you are on mm.com, if you're a subscriber but you're not on the applied level, I'll show you what you'll have what you'll have access to. So we have under markets, daily market discussion. You have a bunch of people talking about the market, volatility and potential volatility trades, momentum trades, some discussion of the Indian markets, European markets, some income strategies as well, some discussions of some neat little strategies. Under resources, that guy feed, we have Trump's social media feed here, so you don't have to worry about getting an account on Truth Social. We pull all of his, they're not tweets, they're called truths. Some of them are the furthest from the truth, but we pull all the truths into here. Great news feed, by the way. I look at this every day from all over the world. Candidates from all over the world posting interesting news stories. These are really great to read. Books. If you're looking for interesting books, there's a bunch of different books that candidates have read, along with a small little description of what they think. Different interesting courses that are on YouTube that are compiled here for you to watch. Different podcasts or ideas for podcasts. So I do scroll through some of these. Some of these are really interesting. Podcasts I'd never come across on my own. Some useful links. Our World in Data, the Observatory of Economic Complexity. I haven't clicked on that one yet. That one looks interesting, and just a whole bunch of really interesting links. Different documentaries. We have this on our site as well under Jelly Beans, a whole list of documentaries. That's starting to fill up here. Career advice. You got some people in the industry giving advice to other people who are asking, how do you prepare for this kind of job? What do you do in this kind of interview? Great charts, a whole bunch of really interesting charts. People come across and say, this is a kind of a neat chart to look at. We have a nice little research channel. CFA Level 1. Here are a bunch of candidates giving study tips and techniques to each other. This is the Feynman technique. I advocate this quite a bit, that the best way to learn something is to teach an invisible other person, is to try to explain it to somebody else on the other side of the desk. Once you can teach it, you can understand it. This is from Huberman Labs. What is this one here? This is optimal protocols for studying and learning. So they're just sharing advice on studying. And if you are with the Market Outlook, if you're just on where are we here? Too many channels. Somebody said that before. There's too many channels. We have a general channel here. I think it's up here. The Q&A. When I do live events, they show up here, and the YouTube feed shows up here as well. And I think my Market Outlook shows up here. You click on the last Market Outlook, and there's your Q&A. You'd have access to that. You'd have access to the Market Outlook channel, so you can watch the full Market Outlook, because the shorter ones will be put on YouTube. And then you can participate in the Q&A, and you can post your question, and I answer them once a week. So that's what awaits you in Discord if you are on markmeldrum.com. And if you are on mm.com and an applied level subscriber, you have access to all the channels. What I showed you for the resources, that's just applied level subscribers or higher. That's not for just mm.com. And there is a quick tour of Discord.